Hello students, today we are going to learn about the common diseases which are there in human beings and what actually the health means and how to remain healthy and how can we prevent ourselves from different kind of diseases, what are the precautions we have to take, and how to keep ourselves healthy. What is the lifestyle which we should follow to keep ourselves healthy? So, this all we are going to learn today, and we are going to discuss some common diseases in human beings in short. We are going. What is health? As per WHO, the health is the complete physical, mental, and social well being. Now, it is not only the absence of disease. If a person is not having any disease, that doesn't mean that he or she is healthy, because health is a state. So if it is a complete well-being of the human being, then only we can call that person a healthy person. It is not only absence from disease. Now, why are we concerned about health is that health is the most important thing for us, because if we are healthy, then only we can contribute to the society. If we are healthy, then only we can do our things well and do service for the society. If we are not healthy, then we cannot be fruitful at any stage. So being healthy is very very important thing. So because health increases productivity and it ensures longevity, you can survive for long, your productivity would be more, you can focus on your studies more, you can concentrate on the fruitful things more if you are healthy. If you are not healthy, then it would be difficult for you to be fruitful for yourself as well as for the society. Now we will see in general what are the different ways to ensure good health. Now, if we see the ways to ensure good health is, the first of all, we should be having a balanced diet. Now, what is a balanced diet? Balanced diet is a diet which is consisting of all the nutrients in right quantity as per your age and nature of job, because balanced diet is not a diet which is common for all. Balanced diet is different for different persons. It depends on your age, it depends on your sex, it depends on the nature of job you are doing. A farmer, balanced diet for a farmer is different from a balanced diet of an office going person. Balanced diet for a sportsman is different from the balanced diet of a school going child. So it is different for different persons. It depends on the nature of job, it depends on your height and weight, it depends on your sex, it depends on your age. So this is the balance diet. When you are having all the nutrients, you are taking all the important essential nutrients in your diet in right quantity as per your requirement. That is called balanced diet. So you should be having balanced diet. You should be having everything in your diet. You should be having vitamins, you should be having minerals, you should be having carbohydrates, you should be having proteins, and you should be having more protein because you are in the growing age, and you should be having fats also. So that is called a balanced diet. Then another important thing to ensure good health is personal hygiene. You should follow all hygiene for yourself. That means you should keep yourself neat and clean. And personal hygiene includes daily bath, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, washing your hair, keeping your clothes clean, keeping your all belongings clean. So that is personal hygiene. Public hygiene also is very important. You have to keep your surroundings also clean. So that is another thing to ensure good health. And now in the time of corona, it is all the more important because we know we have to keep ourselves protected. We keep these days we are disinfecting each and everything because we are afraid that if there is any virus in our surrounding, it we might fall ill. So personal hygiene and public hygiene for all diseases is very, very important. Then another important thing is exercise. These days we are talking a lot about immunity. You have to boost your immunity. So to boost your immunity, balanced diet is very important. And the second important thing is exercise. Some sort of exercise is must for your body. It can be yoga, it can be any physical exercise which you want, it can be even dance, it can be zumba, whatever you like, but some exercise for your body is very, very important. Then awareness about prevention and control of diseases. Now these days we all are wearing masks, we all are keeping social distancing, and we all are very, very cautious about the disease corona. Why? Because we are aware about how, what is the causative organism, how it spreads, and how can we prevent it. So awareness is very, very important thing. We should be aware about the diseases. We should be aware about the causes, the preventive measures, the control of various diseases, which are common human diseases. Now, another thing, proper waste disposal. As I told you that public hygiene is as important as private hygiene, because if you're keeping yourself clean and you're keeping not keeping your surrounding clean, that is not going to help, because these infectious diseases are airborne, these are soil borne, these are waterborne. So you have to keep you have to manage proper waste disposal for keeping your surroundings clean. And then control of vectors. There are many vectors like housefly, mosquitoes, which are bringing the causative organism to us. So we have to control these vectors. So we have to take all the precautions. Like for mosquitoes, we have to wear full sleeve dresses, then we have to put the mosquito net, then we have to put the door and windows net, then we have to use all out. So all mosquito repellent things should be done. And then we should not allow any water which is stagnant in our surroundings. So all water, it should be thrown out regularly. It should not be allowed to stagnate, because that is the breeding ground for the mosquitoes. So we have to control the vectors as well. Then another thing is vaccination. Since birth, there is a vaccination program, and we should have all the vaccines for which the vaccines are available. And we are waiting for vaccine of corona now. By next year, early next year, we should be having that also. So this vaccination is also important. If the vaccine is available, then we should have that vaccine to protect ourselves. Now, why do disease occur? Actually, why do we fall ill, and why these diseases occur? There are various reasons for diseases to occur. One is genetic reason. The disease which is there in your parents will be transmitted to you through genes. Now you know this very well after doing the genetics. So the genetic disorders are there, and these genetic disorders, these are inheritable defects, and they are transferred from parents to their progeny because of the genes. So that is the genetic reason is one of the cause why do disease occur. Another is infections. Now infections, as I told you, can be, there are infectious diseases. There are diseases which a healthy person get when he or she get infected from an infected person. So if an infected person is in your vicinity through air, through using his utensils, his or her utensils, and using the common washrooms. These all can give you the infections from a infected person to a healthy person. That's why keeping your surrounding clean is very, very important. Then another thing, why do we fall ill, is sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle means we are not exercising properly. The exercise which is required by our body to keep our mind and body fit, we are not taking that exercise. We are sedentary. You must have heard couch potato. Couch potato is what? Lying on the sofa all the time and watching TV. So that lifestyle should not be there. We should be physically active, and we should avoid junk food. What is junk food? Junk food is the food which has excessive salts and fats, processed food, and we should avoid this junk food also, because taking this junk food regularly and quite frequently can cause you illness. Then consumption of alcohol, drugs, lack of exercise is same as sedentary lifestyle. So these are the causes by which we get diseases. Now, pathogenic diseases. What are pathogens? Pathogens are the organisms which are causing the disease in human body. So they are called pathogens. Pathogens are disease causing organisms. So these disease causing organisms are the parasites that enter the human body through various means. Now, what are the means? They can enter to our body through food, through water, through air, through soil. So they can enter to into our body, and then they multiply there. And when they multiply in our body, they interfere with the normal activities of our body, and they cause illness. So these are the pathogens, the disease causing organisms. Now we will see what are the different common diseases in human beings, and we have divided them as per their causative organisms. So first of all, we'll see what are the diseases which are caused by bacteria, because pathogens can be bacteria, pathogens can be viruses, pathogens can be protozoa, pathogens can be worms. So we have divided into different categories. So bacterial diseases, the diseases which are caused by bacteria. In this, the first disease is typhoid. And for typhoid, who is the causative organism? Who is the pathogen? Pathogen is Salmonella typhi. Now, this Salmonella typhi is the for typhoid is Salmonella typhi. That is the causative organism for typhoid. Now, this Salmonella typhi is a bacteria, and how it spreads? It spreads through contaminated food and water. If you are consuming contaminated water, or if you are consuming contaminated food, you might have this infection. And what is the site of infection? Small intestine. And what are the symptoms, common symptoms of this typhoid? High fever, stomach pain, headache, loss of appetite, you don't feel like eating anything, constipation, and in severe cases, these are the common symptoms. And if you have cured that disease at this stage, it's well and good. But if not, if you have not taken care of typhoid at these stages, then the in severe cases, there might be intestinal perforations, and that is fatal. So, intestinal perforation is the severe case symptom of typhoid. And what is the test to confirm this infection? Is the Vidal test. So, Vidal test is the test to confirm the typhoid disease, typhoid infection of that bacteria in human body. Another bacterial disease is pneumonia. Now, in pneumonia, the pathogens are Streptococcus pneumoniae, that is bacteria, then Haemophilus influenzae. So these are the positive organisms for pneumonia. Now pneumonia spreads through, it is an airborne disease. So it spreads through the droplets or aerosols released from the infected person. When the infected person is coughing or sneezing, then droplets of that person, salivary droplets are there in the air, and these are called aerosols. And these droplets, if you are inhaling or somehow they are entering into your mouth or any through any opening, then you are bound to get that infection. Sharing of glasses or utensils. So these are the transmission means of transmission for this bacteria, because they are airborne and they are surface borne as well. Now, what is the site of infection? Site of infection is alveoli. Alveoli are present in lungs. So, your lungs get infected. The alveoli gets filled with fluid, and if they get filled with fluid, then it is difficult to transport the oxygen to the blood, and the person will have difficulty in breathing. So, the difficulty in breathing is the symptom for pneumonia. Now, the other symptoms for pneumonia is fever, chills. Chills means the person is feeling cold at times. He or she feels so cold that he is shivering. She is shivering. So that is called chills. Then cough, headache, lips and nails become gray. Why? Because of the low concentration of oxygen, the lips and nails become gray in severe cases. And that is the notion, that is the signal that oxygen concentration is less in the body. So these are the two bacterial diseases which are there in the syllabus of 12th standard. Now we will go to the viral diseases. In viral diseases, common cold, and in common, every one of us have got this common cold, and we know what happens in this, and we know how irritating it is. We keep on sneezing, and there's running nose, and we feel so dull. So the positive organism, the pathogen for this is rhinoviruses. And site of infection is nose and respiratory passage, like coronavirus. Corona also is entering, and the site is nose and respiratory passage, and it spreads through droplets. Same, the droplets released from coughing or sneezing of infected person or contaminated objects. So it's same like corona, because corona is also a viral disease. So that also is spreading through coughing and sneezing of the infected person. That's why it is better, and now it is mandatory for you to wear mask. So mask is preventing the other person as well as yourself. If the other person is having, you are protected. If you are having, the other person is protected. So wearing mask is mandatory these days in corona times. So in common cold also, the droplets are released from coughing or sneezing, and contaminated objects, same surfaces. It can be pen, it can be book, it can be tabletop. So everything has to be disinfected before using it. If the person near you or the person in the family, any person in the family is having common cold. Then symptoms. What are the symptoms? The nasal congestion is there, discharge is there, running nose is there, sore throat, cough, headache, tiredness. You don't feel like doing anything. You feel like sleeping all the time. So all these are symptoms. This all we have experience, because I think all of us have gone through this experience, because all of us must have had common cold at least once. And now the protozoan disease. This was the viral disease. And with this, I have covered corona also, because that is the more required, the burning topic of today. So for corona also, coronavirus also, we have to take all these precautions. We have to wear masks so that the droplets, and now WHO is saying that it is airborne as well, because if the aerosol particles are small, then they can remain suspended in the air for quite long. And if they are suspended in the air, then the air you are inhaling, the virus might enter through the aerosols in your body. So it is airborne as well. Now the protozoan diseases. In protozoan diseases, we have the malaria, and in malaria, the pathogen, the causative organism is a species of Plasmodium. Plasmodium is one protozoa, and the different species of Plasmodium are causing malaria in human body. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, and Plasmodium malaria. This Plasmodium falciparum is the most dangerous plasmodium, because this is causing malignant malaria in human being, which is fatal at times. So this is the most dangerous plasmodium. Now, who is the vector? Vector means who is bringing this causative organism into our body. The vector is female Anopheles mosquito. So, and female Anopheles mosquito is biting an infected person, it is carrying the plasmodium from there. Then, when the same Anopheles mosquito is biting a healthy person, it is going to release that plasmodium in the blood of the healthy person. So vector, female Anopheles mosquito is the vector. Now, what are the symptoms of malaria? Symptoms of malaria is high grade fever, chills, again chills, the shivering is there. You must have seen, if anybody has suffered from malaria in your family, the person who is suffering from malaria, he or she feels so cold that you have to put lot many blankets and coils on him or her, but still the cold doesn't go. So that much chills, shivering is there in case of malaria. Now, the another protozoa disease which is caused by the protozoa is amoeboisis. Now, this amoeboisis is also a very common disease in human being, because whenever we are eating out, whenever we are drinking water from outside, or if it is contaminated, we are bound to get this disease, this infection, and it can be mild to severe. And the pathogen is, the causative organism is Entamoeba histolytica. Now, this is Entamoeba histolytica is the pathogen, the protozoan, which is responsible for this. And who is the vector? Vector is the housefly. So, housefly is sitting on excreta, on other dirty things, and then the same housefly is coming and sitting on the food. So normally when we are eating from outside, normally because outside the people, they don't care much about the safety point, the hygienic conditions of the food. So especially the street vendors. So the houseflies are there, and the houseflies, they are bringing the Entamoeba histolytica, and then leaving it in the food. And when we eat that food, we get this infection. And the site of infection is large intestine, and the symptoms are, you will feel abdominal pain and cramps. Cramps is what? Unbearable muscular cramps are there in the abdomen, and you will just hold your stomach and sit. Constipation is there, and the stools can be with mucus. The blood clots can also come. These are in the severe cases. In mild cases, you will have constipation, you will have abdominal pain, you will have cramps in the abdomen, you can even have loose motions, diarrhea can also be there. And in severe cases, there can be mucus in the stools, and there can be blood clots as well. Now we will see what are the fungal diseases, the diseases which are caused by the fungus. And in this we have ringworms. The ringworm, why the name is given ringworm? Because it is circular, and it is on skin, you will find circular patches. So that's why it is called ringworm. And the pathogens are genera Microsporum, trichophyton, and epidermophyton. So these are the fungus which are responsible for ringworms. And how they are spreading? They are spreading through towels, clothes, comb, because it is a fungal disease. So fungal diseases can be with from anything like towels. You are using towels, so that's why it is said that we should not share our towels. We should not share our comb. The comb, towel, clothes, these should be separate for separate person. Otherwise, there are chances of this fungus infection, and this fungus is acquired from soil. What are the symptoms? Appearance of dry, scaly lesions on various body parts. Various body parts you will find dry patches, scaly lesions, and these can be in circular shape. That's why the name ringworm. With intense itching, you will have intense itching on those patches. You will feel like itching all the time. So these are the symptoms of ringworm. Now we will see what are the diseases which are caused by the worms, that is helminthes of in the human beings. In this, first is ascariasis. Now ascariasis is the roundworm, ascaris, and the pathogen causative organism is roundworm, ascaris, and these are the worms. Normally we take tablets for deworming, so that tablet is taken for this ascaris only, because these are the worms which enter into our body. They can enter into our body through water. They can enter into our body through vegetables and fruits which are contaminated by feces of infected person. So the infected person is might have the eggs with them, and when the house fly or the vectors, the other insects, they are sitting, they can be sitting, then again they will be sitting on the fruits and vegetables. So this is how you are getting, and in soil also it is present. So the fruits, vegetables which are not washed properly, they might be contaminated with this worm, and then we can have this infection. Now, what are the symptoms? Symptoms are internal bleeding. Muscular internal bleeding is in severe cases, but otherwise you will have muscular pain, fever, and the most important is anemia. Especially the girls with fatigue, you will not feel like doing anything. So these are all symptoms of ascariasis, and the blockage of intestinal passage and internal bleeding. This happens in the severe cases. Otherwise, you will have a stomach ache, you will have muscular pain, you will have fever, you will have anemia. So these are the mild symptoms which tells you that you need deworming. So that's why it is there in our school medical program that we give tablets for deworming of children, students. The another worm causing disease in human being is elephantiasis. Elephantiasis, as the name suggests, the limbs become like elephant, swollen limbs like elephant. That's why it is called elephantiasis. It is also called filariasis. And the pathogen here, the causative organism here is Wucheria malai and Wucheria bancrofti. So these are the two species which are causing this elephantiasis, and they spread through bite of female mosquito vector. So here the vector is again mosquito, female mosquito, and bite of female mosquito can bring this infection into your body. What are the symptoms? Chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is there of the organs, and mostly the lower limb, and that is your legs, and usually the lymphatic vessels of lower limb. So there is swelling, there is inflammation of the lower limb. So this was elephantiasis. Now these were the diseases which are common in human beings.